In the wake of the Save TF2 protest, we got a response from Valve and have since received a couple of updates to the game. Of course, it's been nothing major so far, but I'm certain most of the community would take anything at all at this point. In the 3 or so updates we've seen since Valve's reply, we've had a couple of interesting changes to the game. A few of them are expected stuff, like fixes to exploits and security. Others are nice small touches, like fixes to the smoothness of NPCs, even though they're still not perfect. And others are unprecedented, like, oh my god, Mattepicmip -10? And also toggleable random fall damage, but Mattepicmip -10? Yep, it's true. On the July 7th update to TF2, one of the listed patch notes reads, updated Mattepicmip to allow values below -1. For those of you who don't understand how massive this is, allow me to explain. Mattepicmip is a client convar that controls the maximum mipmap level allowed by a texture. In layman's terms, it controls picture quality. The higher the value, the worse the graphics, and the lower the value, the better. This convar currently ranges from its new minimum of -10 to a maximum of 4. If you're setting the texture quality from the in-game options menu dialog, -1 is equivalent to very high, while 2 is low. Theoretically, you can go above 2 to get even lower quality, if you wanted to for some reason, but that requires the use of SV cheats. Since an update in June 2010, the option to use a value of -10 has only been available in Source Filmmaker, and not necessarily TF2 itself. You see, back around the days of the Mac update in 2010, Valve may have been running into a bit of an issue trying to get the game to work properly on the platform. When this update released, the convar Mattepicmip was locked to a minimum of -1 in order to quote-unquote fix some sort of virtual memory issue on macOS. What really sucks about this change is not only was it locked on macOS, but it also became locked on all other platforms the game ran on, which at the time was just Windows. Even worse is that the Gunmetal update temporarily locked Mac players to a maximum texture quality of medium up until the Halloween 2015 update dropped a couple months later and introduced texture streaming. There's a bit of a history of memory issues with TF2 on macOS, as I'm sure you can tell. With this new patch, however, we finally have our maximum texture quality back after 12 years in limbo. On the surface, going from Mattepicmip -1 to -10 doesn't really look like much of a difference. I mean, we're going from the previous highest texture quality, which already looked great, to a new even greater one. But when you look at the small details, the differences start to add up. Take this famous spray can in the 2-fort spawn room, for instance. With Mattepicmip -1, the supposed very high quality setting, the label on this can looks compressed as hell. If we switch over to Mattepicmip -10, however, the text on the can is clear as day. This random can is far from the only thing affected, though. Take the soldier's view model, for instance. Not even necessarily looking at the shotgun, but at soldier's coat. On Mattepicmip -1, very high texture quality, you can see a visible line of pixels that makes up the end of the sleeve. When we switch to Mattepicmip -10, not only does that line of pixels clean itself up, but we now also have a very visible detailed fabric texture. This little detail has been hiding for so long, and it's such a nice small touch that would otherwise go completely unnoticed. This same phenomenon can be observed in other view models as well, such as Spy's Glove, Scout's Bandages, Sniper's Gloves, and even weird miscellaneous map details like spider webs, these drains, this sign, and lily pads. Essentially, Mattepicmip -10 allows strangely high-resolution textures like these to finally display in-game again for the first time in 12 years. For the most part, you probably aren't going to notice a huge difference, but when you do, you'll be amazed at just how many small details this game has. Once paired with disabling texture streaming completely, the game can look even better. If you're interested in how that whole system works, let me know in the comments down below so I can gauge interest. This has been a video by Air. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like if you did, subscribe for updates, and check me out on Twitch to play TF2 with me live and hang out. Peace.